freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental inspection, and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Hey folks, Dude here. Coming to you. I got another edition of Dude After Dark. This one being the belated start edition. Me being a smart ass as usual. Anyway, so look at that stuff as it is. I'm going to be pretty much running everything off the home computer. So we'll give that a try and see how things work. And, hopefully things don't go completely kablooey. Martinez Sasquatch. No, sir, I did not check your link there. We converse, obviously, behind the scenes on MeWe. So if you wish to use MeWe and converse with me there, I am on MeWe. No, dude, I didn't check that link out. When I get done with this, I will look and see what it is that we're now talking about in the ethers, as it were. Let me jump right into it, and good stuff like that there. And I cannot begin to tell you how blanking hilarious this is. But Don Lemon, CNN's Don Lemon. Hang on a second. I got to do this correctly here. Of course, that the classic James Earl Jones version of CNN. It actually had some notoriety, had some reputation. People actually listened to him and didn't think that they were completely full of Bravo Sierra, as it were, and all the rest of that fun, happy stuff that they tend to just throw it out there and put it out there, and it's just it's out there. Yeah, it's right up there with the sharding. So anyway, look at that stuff as it is. He had a person of note from obviously England, and she's obviously knowledgeable in the history of things. And they got to talking of all things about reparations. And, she was going on about, like the British history of things. And he's like, yeah, well, we really should talk about reparations. And she goes, oh, absolutely. Let me explain to you how things work. Well, and of course, England was the first country of the world to ban slavery. And there was some people that actually lost their lives attempting to stop slavery. These people died in the service of the humanities, and they should be getting reparations. And Don Lemon's face was just like, I could not do it justice. He absolutely got schooled trying to play the race card on this chick, and she made him look like, just the ignorant douche racist that he is. And it's pretty funny because he was actually pushing the mindset that the royal family owes reparations for slavery, and she kind of rubbed his nose in it, going, "No, dude, Brits basically fought to have freedom away from slavery." So he was just kind of like, he was, just. I think at the end note, when it actually got to be like, the long drawn out affair, it was just, he just blew it out of his ass, and it didn't look good in the process. And she really, really, really schooled that one. I forget what her name was, but there was the interview taking place where basically he was going on about the royal family now owes so much money because, Charles is worth all this buku cash, and he should be handing over a good chunk of it for reparations. She made him look like a fool. I cannot do it justice, man. She really made him look like a fool. Barry Sean, appreciate you coming on, dude. Patriot Fever, appreciate you coming on, dude. Patriot Fever on station, saluting with a PHUX brand. I mean Putin. Oh, yeah. Smart ass Patriot one. Okay. Anyway, so appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. Good stuff like that there. Let me cruise on through the rest of it. I got a lot of stuff. The actor and of course guy who played Buzz Lightyear in the Toy Story stuff, he completely tweaked every thin-skinned libtard on the planet, and they completely lost their they lost their hugely. They lost their S hit over a dad joke. And essentially what it is they basically kirked out completely because on his Twitter page, he said this exactly. Tim Allen of Tim Allen, and of course he's got the blue check mark, so that is his Twitter. And it says, Biden was on 60 Minutes. I heard he asked how long the show was. It's such a dad joke, but it's just hilarious. Martina Sasquatch. My family will never pay reparations to the Saxons. Norman rule forever. Oh, well, the Normans have a long history of being. You guys are the Scots. I mean, the Normans and the Scots really are just kind of like, really, they're really happy to show the V's to the Royals. Long history there, man. I'll tell you what. But anyway, yeah, they completely lost their cookies, or, S hit over the dad joke from Tim Allen. I cannot do it justice. Just give me 1 second here. This one coming in from RepublicanDaily.com. Group of progressives are trying to make parents the enemy. And it's a very simple reason. Is most of the time you have these. I gotta be really careful in how I phrase my terminology of these peoples, but we're talking about the deviants and the kid liking type of people. They're pretty much just a bunch of perverts. Pedos, as it were. And very simply put, it's just because they can't make their own children, so they have to convert others into being good little deviants just like them. And the thing about it is you really truly have to inculcate, you have to instill in your children, you have to inject upon them the mindset of this ain't normal. Just trying to make things this way by saying it's right does not make it right. And you have to tell them why it's wrong, how it's wrong, and that you're there for them always. So make sure that you do that on your side of things. I don't have any children of my own, but I do have my niece living with me, so kind of quasi. I don't know if you guys caught about this one, but this one is bloody disgusting. 9 Republican lawmakers joined with the Democrats to pass a proposal to overhaul rules for certifying presidential elections. Oh, do we have any mystery who the first one they're going to mention on this list of Republicans is? Yeah, well, actually, the first 2. We're talking about Liz Cheney. I got another story about her, too, and she's pretty much just right up there with, Dookie. I mean, there's nothing really that you could say about her other than she's just, she's just, yes, the lowest of the low. Yeah, we're talking about her. So anyway, she's on the top of the list. Second one down is Adam Kitzinger, and both of these guys, it's like their swan song. Oh, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to screw over the process because I don't have to worry about being in office anymore because I'm getting booted. Peter Miser, Gonzalez from Ohio, Jacobs from New York, big mysteries there. Herrera Butler, Katko, Rice from South Carolina, and Upton. So those 9 guys, ladies, whatever. If you own a cooter, if you don't own a cooter, those 9 guys, all right? Those are the ones you got to remember when it comes time to boot them out and you have the opportunity, remove them from office. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly in a long, great history of the federal government treatment of the American Indians, next one on the list has to be the Biden administration. Well, they're expected to soon finalize a rule banning oil and gas leasing near Native American historical sites, despite heavy opposition from the local indigenous leaders, who say the administration's rule will prevent them from collecting royalties on their land. When it comes right down to screwing over the American Indians, there's not many entities that can do it better than the federal government. But it's not like they did anything wrong to them in years past, did they? Nah. There's an old line from the Indian nations, and they say, you know what? Actually, it's an old joke. Can you trust the federal government? Ask any Indian. You can't, okay? You just can't trust the federal government. Scrolly. This one, this is pure and simple classic Ron DeSantis. This one coming in from the Daily Wire on their Twitter feed. I actually, of course, real Daily Wire, @ And a reporter asks, Any response to DeSantis sending migrants to Delaware? Biden said, he should come visit. We have a beautiful shoreline. And then on DeSantis's Twitter feed, which is the DeSantis War Room, there's this picture of like, beautiful clean beach, beach chairs and umbrellas, beautiful blue sky. And above that, it just says, we're good. Thanks. Completely shut down with 3 words. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Scrolly. This one, of course, being a TikTok video, doesn't translate really good. But supposedly, Joe Caca driving the beast through the streets of London, the British were screaming out, let's go, Brandon. Wow. Wow. Man, you want to talk about just basically let him have it with both barrels. That was pretty much just, that's just how she rolls. That was just, yeah, that's just.
I've got balls of steel.
Yeah, that definitely is how those guys did that. Man, that was just
balls.
Well, no, it was more than that.
I've got balls of steel.
Yeah, it was very definitely balls of steel. You mean you're supposed to be paying honorifics to the Queen? It's not about you showing up and doing those things that you want to do, because they basically said, look, we got so many people showing up. London's not a big place. We got ways to make all this thing work. And if you just work with us, it'll just work out so much better. Don't play the games, please. Just do what you need to do, and everything will work out just fine. Biden insisted upon bringing along the monster vehicle known as, quote unquote, the Beast, which is a big black Cadillac limousine. And they were like, okay, fine. That's why he got seated 14 rows back, because they're like, yeah, you know what? You're not going to listen to us. We're just going to treat you like, somebody lesser. When he should have been like, 3rd or 4th row max. Scrolly. I do not like this guy. I've never liked this guy. And it's kind of one of those stop clock being right twice a day type of things with him. And I'm speaking about no other than, Ted Cruz. There's a video out of him forcing a kiss with his daughter that shows just how fake he is when he was running for president. The video's out there. I mean, basically, she's like coming off the bus. He went off first. She's coming off the bus. And he's like trying to put the kiss on her. She's like, no, stop, no. It's like they're surrounded by cameras. Obviously, she's not into it. And he like forces a kiss on her. And she's just like, get off, man. It was so fake. It was so forced. And it almost was like borderline kid abuse. I really, truly did not like what he did to her. And I thought it was just completely disgusting. Patriot Fever, Queen approved also. Oh, yeah, that's funny as hell. There's another one I kind of thought would be really, really humorous. It's like, supposedly, you have Harry popping over there with, Meghan Markle, and they're standing there, and you hear this hollow, screw thy, and you see this gnarled fist basically pop up and like flip him the bird, and the hand drops back underground. No love lost on those guys. Trust me on that one. But anyway, so Ted Cruz, what did he do? The grandstanding asshole that he is, at least sucked up to the left. Never, ever trust this cretin, ever. And he caved to the Democrats, and he caved to Amy Klobuchar on the media cartel bill. And it's not a good bill. In the slightest, it is not a good bill. In any way, shape, or form, there's no other way around it other than simply call it what it is. And it is damn nigh disgusting on its outset what it is. I mean, you really have to read up on this thing, but I'll tell you what, this media bill that they just throw out doesn't fix anything. And if anything, it really further enables the bad guys to do the bad guy stuff in the large enterprises of which we have with, the media giant Goliaths, of which there's only like 3 or 4. And that's like literally every single media outlet is owned by 4 corporations. Well, if you think about it, under the way trust ruling works, those guys should be really FEC should be really jumping all over it, saying you're too big, you need to break it up. None of this grandstanding kind of stuff where you basically buy up another entity, and make it gross, grande, massive, unapproachable, 20 entities all shoved into one entity that you can't simply just work your way around because you really only have 4 choices, literally. And they're all pretty much just hard leftist run Goliath of the tech giants. Scrolly. I don't know if you guys saw this one or not. This one is positively, absolutely disgusting on Gavin Newsom's part. He made a billboard and he hung it up for everybody to see, and it's really, really in your face. Quoting scripture on a California billboard saying that Jesus told us to murder the unborn, Gavin Newsom, you are going to burn. You are beyond sick. So anyway, what does this board say? In white text, need an abortion? In yellow text, California is ready to help. Learn more at abortion.ca.gov. Quote, love your neighbor as yourself. There's no greater commandment than these. End quote. Mark 12:31. Paid for by Newsom for California Governor 2022. Just a disgusting, hard-charging a-hole of the highest order. That's just wrong. You don't basically utilize scripture to enable something like abortion. Okay, it's just, you just don't. There's no other way you could say, well, it's healthcare. It's pertaining to, very rare instances you actually need to do something like that to save the mother, okay? Let's be honest here. Just give me 1 second. This one I thought was very interesting. Lawsuit. Facebook skirts Apple privacy rules to spy on users. This one coming in from patriotalerts.com. And it is a very interesting piece of lawsuiting. New lawsuit alleges that Facebook purposely bypassed safeguards introduced by Apple last year to protect iPhone users from having their data tracked and collected by apps without their knowledge. Bloomberg reports that Facebook, now Meta, has been sued for allegedly developing a secret workaround to Apple's app tracking transparency privacy features that allowed Facebook to track users' browsing activity. Tim, Apple cook, flashes V for victory in the picture. Mark Zuckerberg smiles for the picture. Proposed class action lawsuit was filed on Wednesday in the San Francisco federal court, in which the two Facebook users accused the social media giant of bypassing Apple's 2021 privacy rules and violating state and federal laws that limit the unauthorized collection of personal data. A similar complaint was filed a week later in the same court. These suits are based on a recent report by the data privacy researcher Felix Cruz, who claims that Facebook's apps for Apple's iOS injects JavaScript code onto websites visited by users. Krause said the code allowed the apps to track anything you do on any website, including typing passwords. Krause developed a tool that can be found at inappbrowser.com. The tool reveals just how much information these apps track. To use the tool, open the app you want to check and share inappbrowser.com URL somewhere within it, such as DMing the link from another account or posting to it in a comment. Then tap the link and retrieve the report from the website on the scripts the apps are running in their in-app browsers. Translation, it's a descriptive way to see what these guys are snooping on. So anyway, they now are being sued on that one. Could it have been that maybe Meta went too far? Yeah. So the Canadian clown guy with the fake boobs doing it still. I got another story about him, but it's getting interesting because now he's causing outrage because people are now seeing what this thing is going on about. And they're seeing the guy for what he is, and they're saying that is not conducive to a normal teaching environment. Even the kids are like, dude, I just went to school. I wanted to learn. I don't want to see stuff like this. Yeah. Numerous stories coming out about, Tesla spontaneously catching on fire. Obviously, battery packs having issues. There's a guy by the name of Tyler Hoover, and he has a YouTube channel called Hoovy's Garage. He did a video where he posted up, what does it take to utilize the Ford Lightning pickup truck to go out to someplace, towing a trailer, and bring back something, towing it back to his house. He had a 32 trip out, a 32 trip back, towing not a very heavy trailer, and towing, I believe it was a Model T. So he's not moving really, really heavy stuff. In the process of towing 64 miles, I think it was, or something, the car had like 50 miles of, or the truck had 50 miles of range left on a proposed 200-mile range. It sucked the battery almost flat. So, looking at the Tesla vehicles, you are still screwed, warranty or not. If the battery fails, loses charge, or sustains covered damage within the warranty period, you won't have to pay for the repair. It's when a battery's damaged in any way, it's not covered by the warranty, that gets you and costs you sleep. The average battery replacement cost for a Tesla battery under warranty can be anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 or more, depending on the severity of the damage. That cost does not include just the battery, but the parts and labor. An invoice from Tesla shared by Current Auto shows a complete battery replacement for a Tesla Model 3 costing over $16,000. $2,299 went in labor, $14,251 went for the cost of the parts, and the battery pack itself cost $13,500. Now, let's just break this down very simple and stupid here. Even going to a dealership, you blow out the transmission, you blow out the engine. Let's just say you complete doofus and you blow out the transaxle and the all-wheel drive unit in, like an SUV. It won't cost $26,000 to replace all that stuff. And the other thing too is you can basically refuel the thing in like 5 minutes versus an electric vehicle taking how long to recharge? Folks, it's not ready for prime time. We're not just there. We're just not there. Q Sheriff Buford T. Justice. Oof. Oh, man. Patriot Fever. At what point does a divine earthquake prophesize break California off and sink it into the ocean like Atlantis? I don't know, but there's a piece of property in California known as the San Jacinto Lock. And literally what it is the San Andreas goes, meanders, but it's another thing. And then what it does is it basically hits this area and it goes, and then it goes back up again. The San Jacinto Lock is 120 miles of land. That is the only thing that's keeping California from going and, up north and then, into the drink. The San Jacinto Lock is under so much stress with those two tectonic plates going, I really want to move, that when it pops, it's going to be a heck of a bang. It really, really will. Let's see. Scrolly. This one is near and dear to my heart, and I cannot begin to tell you how cool this is. This one coming from guns.com. And anti-gun credit card companies and banks. Half the company is ready to tear you a new one. 24 states and 113 lawmakers slam credit card tracking of guns and ammo. So like I said, this one's coming from guns.com. Republicans nationwide are condemning the move by credit card companies to reclassify firearm and ammunition sales into a special category. The reclassification from general merchandise into a new unique merchant category code, or MCC, such as the constitutionally protected items, were announced last week by an activist bank allied with anti-gun groups pressured by the change by the Swiss-based Standards Institute. Now, with progressive politicians and gun control organs praising the move, gun control organs? I think they mean organizations. Praising the move as part of the first step in changing how purchases are made and tracked when it comes to firearms, Republicans are calling foul. Quote, Americans are tired of seeing corporate leverage used to advance political goals that cannot muster Democrat support. Reads a 5-page letter sent by the CEOs of American Express, MasterCard, and Visa to the Attorney Generals of 24 mostly red states. The Second Amendment is a fundamental right, but it's also a fundamental American value. Our financial institutions to stop letting their market power those who wish to attack that value. Led by Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Scrimetti, along with Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen, and co-signed by the AGs of Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Wyoming, and West Virginia. Let us say the monitoring and tracking of firearms purchases creates a list of gun buyers, and the obvious risk to the law-abiding customers' information should be obtained and misused by those who oppose Americans exercising the right to keep and bear guns. In Congress, at least 101 members of the House of Representatives signed a similar letter backed by the Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, who is a Republican from New York. She's good stuff. I like her. Pointing out the previous attempts to create firearm-specific codes but denied by banking standardization organizations. Even on appeal, the warning suggests a new code would unduly burden smaller firearm retailers. A third letter signed by 12 senators, including Mike Crapo and Jim Risch, both Republicans from Idaho, warned the credit card companies' bosses directly, saying that creating a new merchant code for gun transactions is a choice made by each of your companies. You are choosing to side of gun control advocates over the privacy and the Second Amendment rights of millions of law-abiding Americans. They really just need to take these guys out and just drag them in, and make them actually sit in front of Congress and basically play the whole, okay, well, let me give you my public statement about things, make them really uncomfortable, basically have like, the pitcher of water and the glass in front of them. They're going to be like, well, I have to ask my, I have to ask my legal representative how should respond on this. Yeah. Uh, seeing how things are going on the border right now, this one coming in truthpress.com, you're not only tweaking off the border patrol, oh no, you're also pissing off the wife of the border patrol agents. Excuse me 1 second here. So this one coming in from truthpress.com, angry wives of border patrol agents take matters into their own hands. Supposedly 3 Hispanic women, all married border patrol agents, are running as Republicans in border districts against Democrats who have to varying extents enabled the administration's lax border policies. As the Washington Examiner's Anna Giaratelli put it, the 3 Texas candidates are determined to give voice to the 20,000 federal law enforcement agents who have apprehended illegal immigrants 3.6 million times since President Joe Kaka took office. At least one of the Border Patrol wives has gotten into the Congress. Flores, who won the special election in Texas' 34th congressional district earlier this year, she will encounter a tougher challenge in November when she faces Democrat Representative Vicente Gonzalez Jr., who is running against her due to redistricting. Yeah, but this has got to be an interesting thing when these guys are going, well, we have to defend the actions of the president. And of course, the wives are going, you do understand our husbands are basically dealing with this crap, right? Yeah, why don't you vote for me and I'll make sure that they're not dealing as much with this crap. So yeah, that's what's going on there. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but this one is one that, well, there's no other way to say it, but 47 years old with 3 children, Drew Barrymore says she can go years without sex, no problem. Yeah, I really don't care, Drew Barrymore, but she's making it a big thing, and she's talking about, oh yeah, I can go for months and months without getting any. It's perfectly fine. It's like, why are you projecting this on the public? Why do we need to know that you can go for, well, a long ass time without doing the deed? But she was, made the comments on the Wednesday episode of the Drew Barrymore show. I don't even know where that is, but supposedly, it's like they were discussing, like, supposedly somebody hadn't had it in a while, and it's like, oh yeah, well, I can go for 6 months, no big deal. It's like, I don't care. I don't want to know when you're doing the deed. And I really, truly don't want to know if you're doing the deed. And by and large, you got 3 kids. Obviously, you've done the deed more than a few times.
Oh my!
Yeah, I know, but it's just. Yeah, it's just no. It's just not appealing, and I really truly don't care when she does, when she doesn't. And it's just, yeah, no. It's not. It's not appealing. Okay. Yeah, just, yeah. It's just, I don't care. Just. Yeah, just what? Yeah, okay, all right, yeah, all right. You can say that too. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. Shut the quack up. I really don't care. Stop. Shut the quack up. Scroll. Okay. This is some specs I found was very interesting. 1 electric car battery takes 500 tons of ore to refine 25 pounds of lithium, 900 gallons to 1,000 gallons of fuel to move the ore. Lithium is refined using sulfuric acid. The mine at Thacker Pass requires 75 semi-loads of acid a day. 1 electric battery for a Tesla requires 25 pounds of lithium, 60 pounds of nickel, 44 pounds of manganese, 44 pounds of manganese, 30 pounds of cobalt, 200 pounds of copper, and 400 pounds of aluminum, steel, and plastic. Okay, using recyclable steel and recyclable aluminum, internal combustion engines don't nearly require half, if even a third as much, as even a quarter of that much. And it's said to be more polluting than building and driving a 6.2-liter V8 engined Hummer. Just, Ugh. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly there's a bunch of chicks who insist that if you eat meat, you won't get any meat off of them. So anyway, what's going on here is I cannot do this justice, folks. So supposedly these chicks from PETA are saying, if you eat meat, what? Yeah, you're not going to get any because they've gone full.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
Yeah. Yeah, as opposed to you just going, they're going, what?
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
Yeah, so it's coming in from patriotalerts.com. The animal rights group PETA is calling for a sex ban on men who eat meat. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, German's division wants them to ban as well the huge tax on meat-eating men. Daniel Kaz, team leader campaigns of PETA Germany, says, who doesn't know them? The suburban fathers handling beer bottles and barbecue tongs who sizzle 70-cent sausages on their 700-euro grill. Yeah, the zucchini provided by the visitor was viewed with suspicion and tolerated only reluctantly. Okay, you do realize in Germany that, the Wurst is king? Wow. So the fact that Germany's grill masters believe that they have to prove their masculinity to themselves and their peers by consuming meat does not only happen to the animal's chagrin. Quote, now there's scientific evidence that toxic masculinity also harms the climate. These people are beyond retarded. Quote, so a hefty meat tax of 41% for men would be appropriate. Quote, a ban on sexual reproduction for all meat-eating men will also be expedient in this context. After all, every child not born saves 5.8 or 58.6 tons of CO2 equivalents per year. Okay, folks, here's what we're getting to. The toxic masculinity and reproduction. PETA just doesn't want you to make enough people. So if you have too many people, PETA doesn't like it because obviously an animal's going to suffer and the climate's going to suffer. And all these screaming memeites, they all come down to the lowest common denominator of there's too many people on the planet. We need to reduce the numbers, but they don't have like an arbitrary number. So what I usually suggest to them is, hey, if you want to save the planet, you go first. Why don't you just walk over to the lip of a volcano, look in and go, oh, that's really pretty. And then somebody can walk up behind you when you least expect it. So it comes as a full surprise. They just go, hey, get a closer look. Whoop. Ah, piff. Problem solved. There's 58.6 less tons of CO2. Oh, I just fixed the planet. Oh, wait a minute. No, they made some CO2 when they went, yeah, that'd be one that's going to be, well, probably not great for the planet, but it's like recycling. Yeah. This one I got to be really, really cautious about how I say this, but we're going to be talking about, of course, how do I say this without saying this? Sound guy, do you got a new sound effect here? Oh, yeah, you do. Okay, so we're talking about the Chinese Communist COVID infection. So everybody's on board, right? Okay, we're all on board with that one. So what's going on here is we're now talking about a new version of the FDA advisor says that you shouldn't get, well, if you're a healthy young person, you should not get the new Chinese Communist COVID infection clot shot. Oh, that was the clot shot sound effect. Yes. So we've kind of put down the 44 Magnum sound effect, and we now have the clot shot. Yeah, because you got to be really careful about, clot shot. Yeah, that's the stuff you got to be really careful about. Because if you get that stuck in the wrong place, you're cucked. All right, so let me get the store here going over to and looking at. Come on, open up. Hang on a second here. Truthforus.com. We are now looking at the advisor, the FDA advisor, who happens to be the guy who talks about the clot shot, advises healthy young people should not get the new Chinese Communist covert viral infection clot shot. So, top clot shot expert and pediatric doctor is cautioning parents of healthy young people to hold off getting the new, well, you know it, you love it, but you should hold off from getting the Chinese Communist covert viral infection clot shot. saying it can carry risks and its efficacy has not been proven. Where have we heard this before? Well, we haven't heard this before because they haven't been honest. No, not in the slightest. They haven't said anything even remotely that might be a little bit about, hey, maybe you should hold off on getting the
Claw shot.
No, they haven't said anything about holding off on getting the
Claw shot.
They said, oh no, you should always get the
Claw shot.
All right. So anyway, Dr. Paul Offit, director of the
Claw shot.
Education Center, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, member of the Food and Drug Administration's, clot shot advisory committee, said he's not fully sold the benefits of a third clot shot, outweighing the harm. Who really benefits from another clot shot? Offit said on CNN. He did acknowledge that studies have shown people who are over 65, immunocompromised, or have chronic ailments are less likely to be hospitalized with the Chinese Communist covert viral infection if they've even had a third or even a fourth clot shot. Newly developed dose called the bivalent clot shot is a cocktail of the original Chinese Communist covert viral infection strain combined with parts of the Omicron BA4, BA5 subvariants, hope being that people would be able to fight a broader range of more highly contagious Chinese Communist covert viral infection mutations. But writing in the Wall Street Journal earlier this week, often said preliminary data suggested the new bivalent clot shots were actually worse at warding off Chinese Communist covert viral infections than the first generation of shots. Folks, the Chinese Communist covert viral infection first version is extinct. Any shot that you're giving to anybody that's utilizing anything that worked on it, you may as well be squirting them full of water because it's going to do basically the same thing. However, if it's got mutagenic effects, potentially it's screwing them up. Or it might actually be something you have to worry about while, you're dealing with the
Chinese Communist covert viral infection. Claw shot.
You could be dealing with, more than a little bit of the
Claw shot.
I have not received any.
Claw shot.
No.
Claw shot.
None in my sphere of influence, unless somebody got me when I was asleep. Let's see. Scroll. I'm gonna jump over here a little bit. Oh no, pollsters using tricks and fake tactics don't bear out the reality that everyone suffers under bad leadership. So this one coming from Interactive Polls on Twitter, they're IA Polls 22, ABC Washington Post poll. Republicans hold a 5-point lead over Democrats in generic congressional ballots among likely voters 09, 18 through 21. Republicans 51% plus 5, Democrats 46%. And then if you have the breakdown on this thing, and I gotta actually take the image and blow it up a little bit because it's kind of one of these, kind of Twitter things. It's actually a little smallish. So actually, hang on a second here. Open that in a new tab so I can actually see what I'm doing. All right, so looking at this thing, the Biden approval and midterm vote preference. And it's like approve and disapprove is like 39% versus 53%, and Democrats like 46 versus 47%. And then, of course, looking at, the whole thing, it's like really tightening up. And I think what it is right now is the Democrats are really not liking the fact that there's going to be some honesty involved. Yeah, we can't have that honesty stuff. And that's just bad juju. We can't have that because, it's just going to screw us over and, potentially bite us in the rear. Let me scroll. Scrolly. Just give me 1 second here. There's a whole bunch more stuff I got going on here. Hang on a second here. I lost my place. All right. Scrolly. I think I talked about this one up. Peppermint Pisaki had a moment of honesty. I cannot believe what happened here. Yeah, she's still a butthole. But she took a swipe at Biden and says if the midterms are referendum on Joe, the Democrats will lose. Interesting. A moment of honesty. This one I thought was maybe not completely appropriate, but she really did something bad juju here. So what's going on here is a liberal sabotages a major oil pipeline. The federal judge drops the gavel on her with 6 years in prison and, that doesn't sound so bad, but millions of dollars in fines. get used to poverty, okay? Because you're going to be broke forever. So, Ruby Catherine Montoya in 2016 took a cutting torch to the Dakota Access Pipeline, setting fire to the equipment, ultimately destroying a portion of it. She wasn't alone in the plot either. Montoya worked with Jessica Resnicek to sabotage the pipeline and equipment used to repair it, including a bulldozer, as well as damaging a variety of other heavy equipment. Resnicek, is it Resnicek or whatever? So it's Reznicek. She received her punishment 8 years in prison back in 2021 after pleading guilty to similar charges. Now learned that Montoya won't be getting off much later. In fact, she'll be spending less time in jail, but there's a giant financial penalty for her criminal behavior. This one coming in from Daily Wire, citing an AP report. The Arizona woman who sabotaged the Dakota Access Pipeline, set fire equipment for protests. The controversial project was sentenced by a federal judge to 6 years in prison. However, she used a cutting torch to damage the oil pipeline in Iowa in 2016 and destroyed equipment over the next year, has been ordered to pay $3.2 million in restitution. Yeah, the pipeline was completed in 2017, but while it was built, many protesters tried to stop it. Similar to what they did to the Keystone XL, faced before Joe Kaka ended its construction. As a ruling, it's a heavy punishment and sends a strong message. U.S. Attorney General Richard Westfall, the sentence imposed today demonstrates that any crime of domestic terrorism being aggressively investigated and prosecuted by the federal government. Well, hopefully they basically just make her broke interminably. It's no other way around it. Oh, man. This one I got to go full D's. Damn Dems determined that dummy drops defeat definitively. Most Democrats are saying they need to ditch Joe Biden in 2024 as nominee. And there's a poll out that looks really, really bad for him. ABC Washington Post poll found that 56% of Democrats want a different candidate, with just 35% preferring Biden in the next presidential election. Let's see. Looking 2 years off. And who said this? Okay, looking 2 years off, just 35% of Democrats and Democrat-leaning independents favor Biden for the 2024 nomination. 56% want the party to pick somebody else. Republicans and GOP-leaning independents, for their part, split 47-46 on whether Donald Trump should be their 2024 nominee, a 20% drop for Trump compared to his 2020 nomination. Okay, I'm going to be honest here. If Trump doesn't get it, I would fully support anybody, and I do mean anybody other than Joe Kaka. I would actually, in my heart of hearts, I would rather see DeSantis run rather than Trump, because first and foremost, he's got no baggage. Second off, the guy runs a state like nobody's business. And third off, he's going into it as a much younger man. Yeah, jumping over to something else that basically Joe Kaka did. Band-Aids don't fix stuff, jackass. So Biden was sent spinning right before the midterms, and a major turnaround 99 days later, wouldn't you know, gas prices are going back up. Yeah, so basically releasing fuel from the, the strategic reserve does not fix everything. From Just the News, gas prices increased Wednesday after declining for 99 days straight, with the national average gas price for gas being $3.68 a gallon. AAA warns prices can go higher based on several factors, including the Atlantic hurricane season. All streaks have to end at some point, and the national average for a gallon of gas fallen 134 since its peak in mid-June, AAA spokesman Andrew Gross said Monday. Gas prices have been one of Biden's biggest failures. Well, it's because he's basically screwing with the process. If you're screwing with the process, obviously there's not going to be enough fuel. Patriot Fever knows a good deposit. Oh, I'm not bringing that out of the room, dude. But yeah, it would be fun to have some of that around, I guess. I don't know, man. I need a swig on this one. I got to wash this one down. The federal government's trying to get to space yet again, and the moon. It's only taken 60 blanking years to do it again. NASA pushes back the Artemis 1 launch yet again. Quotes, and this one's coming in from howtogeek.com. Humans haven't walked to the moon since the end of the Apollo program 50 years ago. NASA wants to change that sometime this decade with the SLS rocket, which the agency will try launching again in just a few weeks. Update 9/26/22. NASA planned to launch the attempt for September 27, with October 2 as a backup date. But now the agency is rolling the rocket back into the vehicle assembly building. This time it's not due to technical issues, but Hurricane Ian is approaching Florida, and the rocket could be damaged if it's left on the launch pad. Yeah, but if the damn thing had worked previously, they wouldn't be worrying about Ian because it would have already gone up. Yeah. They're trying to recreate the Saturn rocket, and the guys back in the 60s, they just did it better, okay? And they did it in such a way that, well, they're like, failure is not an option. Well, with these guys, failure might be an option, but we'll just have to ask for a budget increase. Speaking of failure being an option, election loser Liz Cheney opens fire on her own party. She vows to interfere with key 22 race. Possibly leave the GOP. Just don't let the door hit you on the ass. Get out of here. There's a YouTube video I posted up, and this one I find very, very interesting. But supposedly the Russians are now rebelling against Putin and his conscription processes about, you got to join the military and you have to serve in the Ukraine or wherever Putin's sending you, blah, 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 blah. Supposedly there was a 10,000 car traffic jam of people trying to get into Georgia to sneak out and not get drugged into the military. So they say essentially it's a YouTube video, but they say the Russians are rebelling against Putin's conscription. It's a grassroots resistance we're seeing. This could easily grow into something worse. Yeah. When you're seeing your guys going in there and doing stuff that's really just not good for you, pretty much you just don't want to do it, okay? I got another link in here, but it's patriotjournal.com, and Gretchen Whitmer. Oh, my stars and garters, I cannot do this justice. But Michigan, if you vote for Gretchen Whitmer, you're crazy, okay? There's this picture of her standing beside a see-through, and I do mean see-through top, woman, a very ample bosom. She's wearing pasties over the, the best parts of her upstairs. And there's obviously a tall black guy wearing like some kind of like, obviously rainbow type t-shirt or some such. And that's her picture. It's like, an election picture. Like, vote for me. I stand next to the deviants here who basically do stuff in public they probably shouldn't be doing. And then right next to her is the picture of her opposition, which is like, kind of like this nice little mom picture with like, the mother, the father, a couple daughters. And she's the opposition to Whitmer. If you guys put Whitmer back in again, that's the kind of liberal craziness that you're going to be stuck with, okay? But I actually made a note there. So Facebook knows, those are pasties on her nipples. Those are not just bare boobies. Wow. Excuse me 1 second here. I cannot do this justice. There is a person running. I seriously cannot do this one justice. This one's also from patriotjournal.com. But the interview that I have posted up on my Facebook page, I cannot do this justice. But the Democrat midterm candidate melts down on live TV, and they are talking about nobody other than, Alyssa Slotkin, Michigan 8 District 08. So from Breitbart, she imploded on a television debate when the Michigan news anchor pressed her about a recent bombshell report revealing that she resides in an apartment building owned by, quote unquote, a lobbyist and campaign donor. However, when asked, Slotkin tried to defend herself, blew up, claiming the attacks on her were, quote unquote, political desperation since she's claimed to be paying fair market value. Okay, there's like 1,400 other apartments she could have lived in, but she's living in this building that's owned by a lobbyist and somebody who is very stridently very, very Democrat. And it does not look good for you basically to be pumping money into your own guy's back pocket and situation like that and like a quid pro quo. And could be a little interesting how this one blow. And I cannot do it justice, man. That interview that she did. Oh, my stars and garters. But like they say, the guy he's not just any donor. He works at a company that receives millions in federal funding. He's apparently a lobbyist, and his family's registered to vote in the same apartment address. So you don't have to be a political expert to think a conflict of interest in a congressman is living in the lobbyist's home. But when pressed on the issue, Slotkin had a meltdown. She defended her situation, claiming she was, quote, unquote, paying fair market value for the apartment. Her rival, State Senator Tom Barrett, pointed out there's over 1,500 apartments in her town for rent. Why'd she pick one that looks so concerning? According to the recent polls, the Democrats trailing Barrett 46.1 to 44.6. Clearly, she's the one who's desperate, as she's pulling the lowest she has since being elected. It's kind of smacks the kind of corruption Democrats long complain about, but never fix. Or like, the whole dirty stuff, like, oh, well, everybody does it. Everybody doesn't do it. But when you guys do it, you get caught. Do you immediately claim, oh, yeah, everybody does that? Yeah. Slotkin, I think you're in a little bit of trouble there. Supposedly this one's very, very cool. It's a very short one-liner, but essentially the Biden administration's attempt to clean off federal student debt, his relief order is illegal, and he's now been squelched on that. It's now working its way through the courts, and very simply put, Joe Kaka, you can't. You cannot. This one I cannot do it justice, but Joe Kaka made a claim that a few states is under $3 a gallon. No, Joe, your fake false gambit of pissing away our strategic oil reserve had an aspirin effect. Guess what? Nature pours a vacuum, the prices are trending up yet again. I buy gas daily quite a bit because I drive Uber. Trust me, I see gas prices all the time. Anybody else thought about this one or not? But supposedly, the way that the handlers are working with Joe Kaka, they are definitely like very, very stridently defending him. Like so much so that they're actually like pushing like the news guys out of the way, literally shoving them out of the room to avoid interviews and to keep them from asking questions. There's been other times where they're trying to like engage, Joe Kaka, and Joe Kaka is just kind of scrunching. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to sit around. I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to respond. And it's getting very stridently to be an issue that, well, there's problems with, yeah, thanks, Al guy. There's definitely problems with, well, the name is. So, yeah. He's got problems because, whenever he sits down, he's just kind of like glassy-eyed and he's not really engaging. And then when he does engage, it's very strange. There's like almost like a scripted thing that he's rolling on, and that's literally his full engagement process. Let's see. I don't know if you guys caught up on that one or not, but supposedly the Democrats are looking really, really bad because they've been spinning by a midterm voter poll. Americans overwhelmingly support crime crackdown candidates. Oh, who guessed it? Because, defund the police probably isn't very popular right now. Yeah, from Just the News, voter support policies allowing police to detain suspects charged with violent crimes. Poll found that 95.6% of their surveyed say they are less likely to vote for a candidate who supports policies to prevent police from detaining criminals who are charged with violent crimes, such as kidnapping and armed robbery. Quote, crime is beneath the iceberg issues for voters in 2022. It's absolutely clear as numbers, said Mark Meckler, president of the Convention of States. Yeah, this is not working out. Speaking of other Democrats who are under the gun, the West Virginian turd in the punch bowl. Mansion. Dude, West Virginia's going to punch your ass in obscurity. You sucked up to, them and trying to play both sides. Now everybody pretty much hates your guts. Coming from the Hill, the heat's dialing up the Congress to quickly strike an agreement that the government funding as lawmakers are staring down a critical deadline to avert a shutdown at week's end. One of the biggest holdups is the passage of the ongoing push by Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat of West Virginia, as a key centrist and Democrat leadership to use the must-pass bill as a vehicle for changes in the country's permitting process for energy projects. He knows he's a dead duck. He knows he's circling the drain, and it's not going to be very long before people are just really sick of dealing with him. And well, he's just no sound guy. No, he's done. Okay. Yeah, he's pretty much done. Okay. He's a dead duck. He's being really quiet today, okay? But yeah, Manchin's a dead duck. I mean, it's just all there is to it. He's not going to look good when it comes time to be doing this stuff and get caught up for it because West Virginia just doesn't act like that. They really, really, truly don't. Supposedly the U.S. Post Office admits to spying on gun owners, and the stuff that they supplied them to the FOIA request is heavily redacted, so nobody knows the whole scope of what they actually did, but it falls outside their charter requirements. They need to be further regulated in any means, basically, to play games like this. you need to be told to know in certain terms. That's not your purview. Don't do these things or you're going to get slapped. From Joe Kaka's own state, a judge has blocked the Delaware ban on self-built homemade firearm possession and home manufacture. That is cool. His own state just flipped him the bird on his, we got to stop assault weapon thing. Wait. Speaking of other things that's not going to work out so good for, people trying to falsify voting, the Arizona governor has just signed a historic bill requiring proof of citizenship to vote in Arizona elections. Wow. Speaking of other people that have completely lost their cookies, yeah. Zuck pumped a whole bunch of money into the election process to get Joe Kaka in office. Well, he's also pumped a whole bunch of money into trying to do this meta thing. Last year, he was worth $106 billion. His Facebook stocks are trading at $382 a share. Now they're $149, and he's only worth $55.9 billion. He lost $71 billion in 1 year. He went from number 4 as the richest guys on the planet to number 20. So he obviously took a major hit. I wonder if it's worth it for him to be doing that type of stuff. Well, anyway, that's literally what happens in the world at large. And I think I've reached the point of doing all my stuff. But the people in Canada are really getting tired of the big chest, teacher guy. And it's not looking less and less appealing to people allowing him to, dress like this. People are pissed. So I don't think that's going to work out for him so good. And let me jump over here to where I was a second ago. Hang on a second. Let me lose that. Jump over here. See anything else going on in the room? Usual type of stuff. All right, folks, we're going to break off on this one. Got an hour in, and I truly appreciate your content. Sorry for the late start. Obviously, the video will be up for a review if you guys wish to watch it again. Good stuff like that there. And I think it's time for me to, put a cork in it and, roll out and do stuff that I need to do. And I really, truly wish to appreciate, I truly appreciate your kind attention. You guys got many other things to do. You get a gold star for attendance. Good stuff like that there. And I truly appreciate your kind attentions because I know you got many other things to do. And, you could be doing them as opposed to hanging out here with me, but you decide to do that. So I guess I'll just roll. All right, so I'm gonna break up this one, folks. Eat good, keep it centering as always. You know it, you love it, and I appreciate your kind intentions. You guys hanging out with me tonight on this Tuesday, belated Tuesday. Sorry for the late start again. I think I actually forgot. And this dude like, are you doing a show tonight? It's like, yeah, I guess I am. Oh, man. Sometimes I just lose track of weeks, and it's just how things go. All right, go bring up this one, folks. Equal tip as always. You know you love it. Catch you guys next week, and I will see you then. See you guys.